Hey guys, what's going on? Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Vanity MC is making something called ClanWars. And right now I can tell you this is absolutely amazing. This is groundbreaking. So they asked me to go around all the things, and on the left side, or maybe the right side, I don't know, depends how I edit it, is going to be the things that we're going to talk about. The first thing is base beacons, the second is raid beacons, point system, event platforms, terrain, economy, base building, and custom commands. Those are all the things that we are going to go ahead and discuss today. There's so many unique features in ClanWars, and that's also why it has a totally different name. It's not factions, it's ClanWars, but there's still cannoning, there's still base building, there's still PvP, all the features that is in factions, just not the boring part, which I'm going to come into. But let's start from the top. I'm going to leave down in the description all the times when all of these subjects starts. But let's go ahead and start up with the first one here in a second. All these things right here is some of the things that I picked out of this. There's still other things that is I haven't mentioned that you have to figure out for yourself, because there's simply just so much that I can't fit it into video. I don't even have an overview of all of the things, so it's extremely hard for me to do everything in one video. So some things you have to figure out yourself, and some things I will be able to explain you, but let's go ahead and continue. So, base beacons. Base beacons on clans was made because of a number of issues. One of those issues were that there is a limit on how much buffer you can have. Small factions that doesn't have any alts or doesn't really have the power to claim a full buffer is gonna miss out, as well as people with illegal buffers is a problem as well. So they came up with a base beacon. So let's go ahead and create our first faction. We're gonna go ahead and create it. We're gonna call it YouTube. This right here is a setting that the server has set it right now, so you just get the beacons right here, so it's easy to do this and develop. But these white beacons is not something we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the base beacon. So the base beacon is pretty much your inner core in your base. This is pretty much what is like you. So first of all, let's do it right. Let's go into game mode, S, and then we can create our faction and throw those out. So now you have to find a spot you want to build your base. Normally it would be on the border. But I'm just gonna do it kind of like, I don't know, like kind of midway somewhere. So I'm gonna make my base beacon right here. This right here has durability versus infinity. Also, it claimed this chunk right here. Let me run out of the chunk real quick and show you. It turns yellow. When you hover over, it says your faction, and this is your base beacon. Right now the durability is infinity. Vanity is not sure if they're gonna make it has a durability, because if you destroy someone's beacon, it unclaims all the land. They're not sure if they want to actually be able to unclaim the entire land. But bases it's extremely easy to build and stuff like that, so it shouldn't be a problem. One thing you don't see on this beacon right here is the point system. We're gonna come into that, but right now we're just gonna focus on the base beacon. Wherever you place your beacon, we had this claim that is yellow. Now let's go ahead and take outside right here. You see the wilderness. Right here you'll see my faction. Now you will be able to use 1,000 claims around this right here. There's no such thing as power per player anymore. So you can literally just do whatever you can. So 360. Okay, so a max mode of 1,000 chunks. So let's go ahead and say 15. Okay. 15, 16, 17. Okay, so right, this right here is okay. So this right here is the maximum amount of claims you can use. Of course, you could potentially make an illegal buffer, but there's some things that's gonna make that a little bit harder and stuff like that. We're gonna come into that. Now, you have 1,000 claims, meaning as one guy in the faction, you will be able to claim 1,000 claims. Okay. Now, inside this base beacon, there is some upgrades. Now, there's gonna come a lot more upgrades. This right here is just the default. And there's more warps for your factions. There is more. You can place more raid beacons. We're gonna come back to the raid beacons in a second. And you can have a higher durability on your raid beacon. There's also gonna be health on the base beacon. depending if you want to actually make it has a durability. So right now we have our base beacon. We can claim whatever we will right here. But if you go outside, right here, let's say we go outside in the wilderness, and you want to try to claim, it won't allow you because it's not in your land. So that means that all your land has to be connected to the beacon, okay? And that's gonna put some restrictions to people just claiming at someone's factions to make illegal buffers and stuff like that. But this right here pretty much covers the base beacon. So raid beacons was made in ClanWars for a number of reasons. One of them is that even if there was one online in an enemy faction and there was 30 people online in your faction, you still won't be able to raid someone because you will just go like patch up out, use prints or use gen pockets, use like whatever, you know. So they came up with an idea of raid beacons, and that's what we're gonna mess with today, or show you today. So first of all, let's create a faction, a clan, sorry. You need to create a clan called Dexter's Cannon. Why not? That gives us our raid beacons, and we start with 3 of them right now. Oh, okay, so right here we have the raid beacons. Now you need to place that within your cannon box. So let's go ahead and place one. That will claim this chunk right here, and that will say that this right there is now our raid beacon. As you can see, Dexter's Cannon, raid beacon. Now what you can do is that you can claim all the way around it. Now, because this is the only way you'll be able to claim at someone's base, or anywhere really, you're gonna need a raid beacon to do that. Or else you won't be able to claim anywhere, because everything has to be connected to your base beacon. Remember that? If you saw the section of the base beacon. So now we need to figure out all these claims right here. I need to make sure that I claim everything, so we then don't end up. There you go. Okay, so now I claim my cannon box. This over here is my old faction. Let's imagine that all these walls right here is like full wraparounds, you know, and this is an entire base. You have 119 walls, you know, and there's people online in that faction. Now, in factions, normal factions, you wouldn't be able to actually raid someone that's online, because you will simply just go and invest. You will use printer, you will use gem bucket, whatever. Now, watch what happens right now when we start shooting at this bad boy right here. So you will still be able to patch this one right there. You'll be able to patch that wall, and you'll be able to patch the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. This right here has a distance of 3 blocks in between. So of course there's going to be actually a wall right here as well. But in a chunk there is 8 walls. In one chunk there's 8 walls, 8 to 7 walls, depending on how you place them. We'll be able to continue right here. Imagine that there's more wall. I just had to do a smaller amount of walls, since we do have a limited amount of time to explain all this in, so therefore it's important that we speed it up a little bit. You'll still be able to patch the walls. We are now around 6 walls in, or 7 or 5 walls in, and you'll still be able to patch the walls. You'll still be able to patch, even though we can't do this one right here. And let's go ahead and continue. And right now we're like, what, 6, 7 walls in or whatever. We're pretty far in, right? We're pretty far in now. We like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 walls in, if you count the gap as a wall as well. And you will still be able to patch in those claims right there. But as soon as this shot and the next shots go through, and I'm going to show you down in the chat as well, your clan just overclaimed a chunk from clan FPS. Okay, so that means as soon as you hit an end of a chunk, you can temporarily overclaim someone's walls. This doesn't mean that you guys are going to get raided by a faction even if you're online, because you'll still be able to patch in that one chunk, and it might even get changed depending how OP this is right now. It might get changed to be 2 chunks or 3 chunks or whatever. But right now, for showing you guys, it's 1 chunk. So after the TNT leaves above Y100, and also some other limitations, like one of them is pretty much that it only counts the first explosions. It can only overclaim 1 per 1 second, so you can't just fire a ton of explosions and then just go above the walls and and then it's overclaiming everything. No, you can't do that. You can't even go over the walls actually. But it's a lot of limitations, so just we don't have to focus on that. What we have to focus on is that it overclaims at the end of a chunk, meaning after you cannon 7 walls, then it's overclaimed. So they can't patch those 7 walls. It is now temporarily overclaimed, meaning you can't go. They can't go on an alt and start like building right here or whatever. And even us that overclaimed it won't be able to build. This chunk right here is pretty much on pause, so no one can do anything. And it even shows up right here. If you look over, it says temporarily overclaimed by Dexter's cannon, expires in 28 minutes and 30 seconds. So now you won't be able to patch in that chunk. No matter what they do, you won't be able to patch. We can continue shooting, and we're gonna enter the next chunk, which is the core block right here. You will still be able to patch in the core blocks or in the other chunk, meaning there's going to be one more chunk we have to go through. Maybe while they're patching, maybe not while they're patching. It depends. If there's no one patching, well, you're just lucky then. But we are going to continue now, and we haven't overclaimed it yet because we haven't reached the end of the chunk yet. And as soon as we start firing enough times right here, you'll see that we end up actually getting out of the chunk. This right here was on the limit. Gosh dang it. So we're gonna continue shooting right now, and you would see that we start getting into the out of the second chunk now. Boom, there you go, it overclaimed it. Your clan just overclaimed a chunk, and now we have 2, and we can continue. As I said, it might get changed later on. If it seems to be too OP, it's gonna get changed. There's no auto allowed, so you won't be able to just fire a 2-second auto and get in. Also, it has to be above Y100, the first explosion, meaning you can't just fire, like make a 1-stacker and fire TNT up in the air between the walls. It won't overclaim it. So it has to be above Y100. And there's a lot of other limitations. It only counts the first explosions, and there's something with like triangle thing. I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know. But what I know is that this works right here, and I tested it out, and it looks really, really cool. I'm not sure if it's gonna stay 1 chunk, or it might get up to 2 or 3 or 4 chunks, whatever. It might change. But we'll see how that goes. But this is pretty much the overclaiming part of the raid beacon. Now, the raid beacon itself can get destroyed, as I said. So let's say we're gonna make mad ass progress on this base right here. We are shooting, and we actually being able to stop them from raiding us. In like somewhere, you know, inside this, and you kind of stop them. You'll be able to patch in that 1 chunk. Now that you patched in that 1 chunk, they won't be able to raid you. Let me put this one on. There we go. They won't be able to raid you once you keep patching. But let's say that that is not a possibility. Let's say that it's not a possibility. You can simply not patch whatever you're doing. So what you can do is that this right here is a raid beacon. The raiders place those inside their cannon box, or anywhere inside the cannon box, or under the cannon box, or above the cannon box, or whatever. At that point in time, you won't be able to patch your walls because it's simply just too much. Let's go and see how much we overclaim right now. Alright, that should be good enough. Let's say that we have overclaimed like 10 chunks or something instead of just, because it's gonna take a while. So let's just imagine that. Now, if you can't patch, or maybe you have already people patching, you can go for the raid beacon, because as soon as you hit the raid beacon with 20 pieces of TNT or 5 creeper eggs or something like that, I think, you destroy the beacon. Once you destroy the beacon, every single progress you made in your base is gone. Also, the entire claim is gone. So they have to protect the beacon. If they don't do that, then you'll be able to break it, and they lose their cannon, and they lose their progress on the base, and therefore you pretty much succeededly defended it. So right now it is in very early stage. It haven't been tested with lots of players yet. But if it happens that one chunk is not enough, it's very simple to just say, oh, after 2 chunks, after 3 chunks, or whatever. So this right here is so unique, and this is so... I can't wait to try it out, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. But this was pretty much about Great Beacons. Let's start talking a little bit more about base beacons and the points that they have. There's 2 tiers of base beacons. There's the one we're looking at right now, and then there's another one where the point is unlocked. For this sake, I think we can call it 2 stages. This stage right here is what everyone gets. As you can see down in the chat, it must be older than 7 days. You must have more than 500 claims, and you have to upgrade it or charge it with 5 nether stars. Nether stars is pretty much what you use to upgrade your beacon. If you've seen that when I explained the base beacon, you can upgrade it, but you need to unlock it first. This stage of base beacon don't allow you to compete on the F-top, meaning you won't be able to win any prize if it's like this. The 2 stages was created. One, because the merging part in factions is ridiculous. The point system was always created because it's always so grindy. Factions is always so grindy. Like you have to, the first 7 days you just have to do pure sugarcane, which is not really fun, or cactus or whatever. Like for literally 24/7. So that part of factions has been taken out and put it into this point system. The point system is actually pretty simple as soon as you get the hang of it. The first thing we're gonna talk about is the locked beacon or base beacon right here. As I said earlier, that you need to unlock this, and if you let's go ahead and say you have some nether stars and you start upgrading it, then you see right there charge. And now you don't need to have upgraded with 5 nether stars. And you can claim around it. You can do, I'm pretty sure it's 12. There you go. So now you have 500 claims. So all I need to do now is wait 7 days. Now, of course, it's not going to be this easy. Nether stars is used to upgrade things with, and you only get it at the event platforms that we've talked about, or maybe you haven't came to it yet. But that is pretty much what nether stars is. They are kind of rare. So it's not that easy to get, but as soon as you get it and you start unlocking your base beacon and stuff like that, you'll be able to compete on the F-top. You'll get an X amount of points, and we're gonna talk more about the points here in a second. But it's also important for you guys to understand that for you guys that don't really want to compete for the F-top prize, there's still a place for you guys on ClanWars. You can still play with a locked base beacon. That's like, then there's more, it's more likely that the factions or the clans that's going to compete for the F-top is going to go for other base beacons that is unlocked, because as soon as it's unlocked, you can start making points by raiding people or upgrading. So it's only point based as soon as you unlock it, meaning if you're a small faction with 10 players, 10 friends, you just want to play and have fun, just keep it locked and you won't be shown on the F-top. You wouldn't really be shown anywhere besides F-list or C-list in this case. So you will still be able to play, and you won't get targeted as much if you are playing with a base beacon that is locked. Therefore, you will show factions that you're not here to compete for the prize, but you're here to compete, or not even compete, but just have fun. So it's less likely that they will target you. People will still be able to target your base, people will still be able to raid you if they want to go for spawners or gear or whatever, but it's more likely they don't want to do that. The point system idea is also creating this lock system here, because it is possible for alts to create their own base beacon, and you'll just be able to raid your own base beacon all over again. If you can imagine a faction doing that. this was stopped by having these upgrades right here, and as well as each upgrade is 100 points. So you would earn more points by upgrading your own beacon than you would creating a faction or creating a clan, place a beacon, unlock it, and raid it. It would actually give less points that if you raid your own alt beacon than it would if you actually just upgraded your own base beacon. So the point here is that it doesn't really matter if you raid your alt beacon. It's still illegal, of course. You're still not allowed. But it's pretty much the same thing. And all raids will be locked in the system. So when you do F-top, you hover over somebody's name. Who they raided will be shown down whenever you hover over them. So at the end of a season, every single clan is double checked for any old factions and stuff like that, because that's not really cool. But again, if you have an old faction, it doesn't really matter, because you're gonna start with an X amount of points, and if you use those 5 nether stars instead of upgrading this right here on your own beacon, you will actually get more points by raiding your old faction, if that makes sense. But this right here was just a little talk about the locked base beacon. Let's go ahead and talk about points when it's unlocked. Okay, so here's a base beacon with points. Now, the points is always 1,000. If you go under 1,000, like let's say that somebody is raiding your base beacon and they steal points from you, then the points go down, like under 1,000. And as soon as it's under 1,000, you regain your points after, I'm pretty sure it's 1 hour, and you get points every hour until you get back up to 1,000. So 1,000 is the minimum. Now, let's say that you raided these guys and your beacon now has 1,500 points, then of course it won't get you any more points, only with upgrades. Also, when you raid a faction, or when you raid a beacon or a clan, for that matter, and the base beacon loses points, as soon as it loses points once, it won't be able to be raided again for 24 hours. Again, that's to check for alts and stuff like that, so to make sure that nobody can do anything. And it also logs that you raided this base beacon, and as soon as it knows that you raided this base beacon, it might be shown in the F show. Not really sure if they're gonna do that or how they're gonna do it and stuff like that. But you always have 1,000 points. Now, let's say that you want to upgrade your base beacon. That is possible. Like you can get more warps and stuff like that. And each upgrade, I'm pretty sure, is 100 points. Pretty sure it's 100 points. Basically, you need 5 upgrades on your locked beacon to make it like a point beacon, and it takes 5 upgrades in a base beacon that has points to get the same amount of points as it would if you wanted to upgrade a beacon. That way, no matter what you do, you won't be able to cheat your way to get points, because if you will be able to raid your alt faction or your alt beacon, but you'll only get 500 points. The same with this one right here. If you were to upgrade it 5 times, you'll get 500 points. So it doesn't matter really if you give nether stars to your alt or you just keep them yourself and upgrade the beacon. But as I said, the points always stays at 1,000. If it goes under 1,000, it slowly regains up to 1,000. If you raid the beacon, it's going to be locked for 24 hours, meaning nobody can raid this beacon and get points out of it. You can still raid the base, but of course the points will not move at all. And the F-top shows who has the most points, and the points is going to be what makes it the winner of the map. Points is 100% based on raiding, meaning whoever raids the most, or maybe whoever get enough upgrades, I guess, if you could call it as well, wins. So there's no more grind for 7 hours without sleep or anything like that. No breaks, no nothing, just to get on F-top. No more that. This is pure raiding, and that's what I really like about this. I like the point system. because it's unique. It's not something that's never been used before. Now, if this works out and everybody loves this point system, they're going to continue with that. If not, then they're probably going to figure something else out. It's just, I think it's time to try something new. But this right here is pretty much the point system. Really good idea. I really like it, and hopefully you guys like it as well. So the event platform is something that should make the map fun. So there's going to be lots of events, like 20 events of all kinds. That's going to be somehow fun. The events is also how you get all the upgrades. If you look in the beacon, you get a nether star. Nether star is the only way you can upgrade. So events is a big thing, but it's not really something so big that you're kind of forced to do it. It's more like a fun thing. You'll get something out of it, like C upgrades, you know, like warps, more raid beams, whatever. And also it drops a key. You'll be able to get different things from crates and stuff like that. Right now it's an early beta, so the developers are still working on it. But I have been asked to showcase 3 of them, 3 of the recent ones. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. The first one is a boss event. It's pretty much a wither where you have to kill it. Now this wither right here does have a lot of health, and it can destroy blocks on this platform right here. So this entire platform right here, it can destroy it. It can actually go ahead and destroy blocks. And it will destroy the blocks, but as soon as the event is over, everything is going to be replaced. So if it destroys everything right here, or the blocks right here, it's simply just going to go ahead and reset it. So that's pretty much it. I do want to show you it can break. So let's see if we can break. So it seems not to. Okay, there you go. So now it's breaking the blocks. As you can see, it haven't been filled out yet, but it can break blocks. So you might find yourself in a situation in a PvP battle where the wither is on you, that is going to break something underneath you, or it's going to fire something at you, and it's going to break the entire design right here, which is pretty cool. But as soon as the event is over, as soon as you kill it, the event restarts. Now let me go in GM1 again right here. So this is pretty much the wither one. And let me kill it. I'm gonna cheat a little bit and just kill it in one shot. It's not gonna regain itself then, but I'm pretty sure it can be won by a command. Everything is not done yet, so of course there's going to be a number of winners with the boss event. The most recent, the top maybe 10 damage or something like that is going to be is going to get the reward or something like that. Now let's go ahead and see if we can start one of the other ones. Event 4 start. Okay, it's the wither again. Come here. I don't want to start you. The wither again. There you go. Okay, so this one right here is an event where you have to mine the block 50 times. Now imagine yourself there is so many people on this platform right here. It's crazy. So the event always takes place in on one of these platforms right here, you know, this square right here, and the event, like the plugin itself, you can do pretty much everything. You can develop anything inside these inside this platform right here. This right here is just one of them. So you can go ahead and you can break this right here 50 times and you'll get a reward out of it. But there's going to be so many people fighting you, and it's like actually going to be quite hard. Right now I'm just one-shotting it, so of course it's going to be easy for me. Kind of a boring event, but it still has to be here to kind of make it fun. Gosh dang it, I don't want to start you. Okay, the next one, which is kind of fun. You have to kill 100 monsters, and every time you kill a monster, a new one spawns. So imagine like 50-70 people killing all these monsters, and of course I'm the only player right now, so it's only going to spawn on me, but it's going to spawn randomly on players, so it's going to be split up like all over the platform. And the monsters cannot leave the platform because it seems as soon as it leaves the platform, it's going to get teleported back in here. So it's going to be insanely amount of like, you just have to kill all of these right here. and there's going to be more mobs and stuff like that. But right here, you just have to kill 100 of these. It might feel a little bit boring now that it's only you, but it's actually kind of fun if there's a lot of players, which is pretty fun, I guess. So again, there's going to be a number of winners for this right here, and the reward again is nether stars and stuff like that. But this is only some of the events. There is some planned where you have to kind of hold an item, and if a pig catch you, you drop the item, and the next guy to run over it picks it up, and the pigs run after him, and then it's all about running away from the pig and the players while keeping the item for a certain amount of time. It's really fun. Also, they have talked about developing a thing where like you see maybe 100 chickens flying everywhere, and you have to like kill this one god chicken that is the golden chicken while it's flying around with all like 1,000 other chickens. You have to like kill it with a bow, and there's so many ideas the developers have that they're working on right now. Sadly there's only going to be 5 events at the start, but it's going to be keep in development, and it's going to add new events throughout the map, so everything is going to be like extremely fun and different throughout the entire map. But this right here was pretty much the event platforms, a very important part in upgrading your beacons, as well as getting good gear and stuff like that. So the terrain plays a big part in factions and pretty much everything else where you have to build. So this right here is pretty much the terrain. So it's all going to be at Y level 20. It's unsure if it's going to be multiplayer worlds, or they're going to have one world where the world border looks something similar to this. This right here is actually this one is made one. This one is made one. This one is not made correct. Let me fix it up for you guys. So this right here is pretty much how the world border would look like. I don't know if you'll be able to finish this in time. They said that 99% sure that you won't be able to fix it, so let's hope for the 1%. But this right here is pretty much the world border that they're going to have at some point. So there's going to be like 20-25 corners in just one world, so everyone is in the same world, everyone is fighting each other in the same world, meaning like if you're running for bases, you might actually find maybe 4 or 5 guys actually running for bases and you have to fight them and stuff like that. But if that can't be done, it's going to be multiplayer worlds, and it's going to be all flat Y level, so that it's going to be like Y20, SU23 right here. You know, so everything is going between 20 and 30. All of these right here, everywhere. So it's going to be a low Y level of all the worlds, or this only one world. We'll see how that goes. And also there's some pretty cool builds. I don't know if the warp. Do you have a warp altar? You know, warp altar. There you go. Okay. So all of these builds right here is of course, this right here is the platform I showed you 2 seconds ago. This right here is the platform, event platforms build, and I'm pretty sure I already showed you that, so we can continue to the next one. This right here is also an event platform. A little bit different event platform, but this right here is an event platform. And there's also the jungle one. What? Jungle. I don't know why the key fucked up. Okay, here we are. So, Warp Jungle is also an event platform. So like all these events takes place here, but the builds are pretty damn cool as well. So this right here was just a little bit more about the terrain itself. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about the terrain, and hopefully you guys have an opinion of your own. If you do, put a comment down below. So the economy is going to be a little bit different, because everything is point based, meaning spawners is not going to be like it's going to be the main thing. So of course the economy have to change regarding to that. What you do need is lots of creepers, and you do need money for the auction house, you need it for the GUI shop, you need it for lots of things. So the economy is going to be based mainly on creeper spawners, because you mainly use TNT for everything, and then hopefully it's going to be something like pigments or IDs that we're used to for the money, or sugarcane or cactus is also going to be part of it. So it's pretty much the same economy. It's just that spawners don't mean the same in clients that it does in factions, so that you don't have to grind a week to get sugarcane or cactus or whatever. So the spawners are still worth it, but they're not the big part of it. Okay, so base building. I already told you in the terrain section that it's going to be low wire level. This is not the map that it's going to be, but it's going to be a low wire level in the entire map. So that section is pretty much cleared up. You'll be able to transfer quickly. There's also new gen buckets, these two right here. They don't work normally. What you do is that you place them like this, and they go each way, as you can see right here. And while it's going each way, it also goes left and right. This way right here in the middle, you don't have to worry about that one. That one is fall in the plug right now. It's getting fixed. I thought it doesn't really matter if I show you. So this is pretty much what it does. It generates a full wall like this. Now it does stop after 2 chunks, so 32 blocks. But that might change. I'm thinking that you're gonna change it somehow. There's also the obsidian one, which does the exact same. It also goes like this, and you'll be able to get that perfect plan out, as you see right here. Obsidian wall is of course going to be a little bit more expensive, or if not a lot, because just look at how much obsidian there is right here besides cobble, you know. So you'll see how much the price of obsidian gen bucket is going to be. The range of this one, they're not really sure how they're gonna do it. They might do 2 chunks, they might do 3 chunks, they might do 5, they might do 6, they might do whatever. But this right here is pretty much still what is out right now. It's just all you need to do is just change the settings if you want to go higher. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think it should do. Should it go further than 2 chunks, and how far should it go? Of course, it's still gonna stop whenever it enters a new chunk, as you can see over here. Right now I'm at 0, and now I'm at 15. If this was an enemy chunk, this right here, it wouldn't go there, so it will stop exactly where it does right now. This is pretty cool. So this right here is pretty much the gen bucket that's going to be used. It's going to be so much faster to gen your walls than before, and you should be able to get your entire base up in literally 1 day. So that's always nice. But this was pretty much just a little bit about base building. I don't know if there might be more into it. They might add horizontal gen buckets and stuff like that, like a gen bucket you place right here, and it starts going around like this, and then as soon as it hits this block right here, it's going to go out, and then it's going to start doing it again, and then it's going to continue this platform all the way out until it either hits oops, hello skeleton, until it either hits a block somewhere, or that it has a length from the radius, you know, from the middle and out. So whenever this right here has a radius of like, I don't know, 16 blocks or something like that, then it's going to stop like all the way out here. So it's going to be a huge platform, something like that. Oh, that's not even in the middle. Oh my god, I know. So this right here was a gen bucket. It's 1 gen bucket. Gen is pretty much an entire wall, pretty much. There we go. Oh, that was the obsidian one. Alright. So this one, again, you don't have to worry about that one. That one is for fuck, you know, but don't worry about it. This is pretty much what we have to look for. So I don't know how much the obsidian one is going to cost, but I do know the copper one is going to be a lot cheaper than the obsidian one. But it's pretty much a little bit about base building. So this server also has some custom commands. Now it's not something crazy, but it's still worth mentioning because it is going to play its place in clans. So the first thing we have is the mute command. The mute command is something that some of the top ranks in the system right here will be able to mute. So it's only in the faction chat, so you'll be able to mute someone that's really annoying the faction chat. That's simply cmute. I'm pretty sure, yep, cmute, and then I can mute my alt right there. Has been muted in the clan, and also you can unmute as well, like that. So now you've unmuted him. The ClanWars also has the F-axis or C-axis in this case right here. C-axis view, C-axis players, C-axis clan. So you can access other clans. So maybe you can put two clans together in one base or something like that. You know. So that's not really that crazy. There's also some of the fill or the claim commands that people have been wanting. So there's the fill command. You know, you can mark. I know you're pretty much sure what the fill command is. You can also do C claim line, amount, directions, whatever. And there's also some called C ban, that you'll be able to ban someone from the faction, and you won't be able to play join the faction, the clan again. This is only the creator of the clan that can do this, but as soon as you're banned from the clan, you can't get in unless the creator of the faction does unban, and then somebody's. So that's pretty much the custom commands. I know it was a very short clip, but it's also important to get this into the video as well.